Even levels of psychology that you need to train, or you need to study. You need to study not only normal psychology, but there are people who go in even further and study criminal psychology. So there's a lot of things, And then I suppose there's even the schools that will go, and this is very frowned upon. Frowned upon. I don't know if my accent, is not making you understand, but it's not well looked upon when people talk about marketing as well. Personally, I'm not a big marketer. I guess that's by choice. I prefer people to look for me, and if they're happy with what I've got to offer, then fine, we can work on that. But personally, just for me to put all my efforts into one student or even into 10 people, for me personally, it's very exhausting, because I like to try and give my all to a student. That's not always necessarily the best way to go, and not everybody can appreciate a teacher who gives everything of himself. Some people would say, man, I would love to have a teacher, he gives me his everything and teaches me all his deepest secrets and blah, blah, blah. But it's not necessarily true. If you study human nature, not everybody and a lot of people don't really appreciate people who give a lot of information. One problem is, I can give you a lot of information, but it's not necessary that he's I'm not talking about him, but it's not necessary that he's going to study it. Alright? And it's not necessary that he's going to commit himself to train it. Secondly, we're not living, like people lived 100 years ago, or even 200 years ago. Hell, not even 50 years ago, it was very different. So to find that sort of discipline and passion from a person where you can get one person, alright, or even a group of people to practice a technique, or just one technique, over and over and over again, hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands and thousands of times, until it becomes part of their DNA. It's really, really hard. It's really, really hard. I mean, I've put in many years of hard work and a lot of repetitive training just to make certain concepts sink in on a very deep level, on a physical level. Not only on a physical level, but even on a psychological or a mental level, And so, it takes a lot. And, when you're talking about becoming a Sifu or becoming an instructor, now, in the near future, Stefano will be looking at not so much becoming a Sifu. Eventually, I hope he does become a Sifu as well. But already now I'm giving him some responsibilities as an assistant instructor. And Stefano's been with me, like I said, for about 3 years. 3 years. Yeah, 3 years. Yeah, he says that with a nice accent. And, and for basically, to become a good Sifu, there are certain qualities that I do look for. To be, to say that one is without an ego, without an ego, I guess, I'd be hypocritical to say I'm without an ego. I think, I've got an ego as big, if not bigger, than a lot of people. But, I do learn from my mistakes, and I always try to improve myself.